Hello everyone. Today we're going to start and getting to know the Office 2007, which is a smarter way to work. Office 2007 is a wonderful application. It's wonderful actually software which allows you to use all different applications in a new format. We're going to be talking today about the following features, and our agenda will include explore the user interface, Office button, and the ribbon. Also, we're going to talk about how to customize quick access toolbar. We're going to work with contextual tabs, galleries. We're going to talk about mini toolbar. We're going to talk about live preview when you create any object in 2007. We're going to talk about themes and compatibility checker when we save the Office 2007 or Excel, for example, in a different format. So let's begin our session. Let's take a look at Excel first, which was one of the most actually important application of Office 2007. And if you notice when I open Office 2007, I have the file already opened. But let's discuss the window of Office of Excel 2007 and new features. First of all, the most important part of new Office 2007, which repeats in different applications, is upper left corner the button which says Office button. And if you click on that Office button, you're going to see a lot of different options. The first option is new. And if you select this option new, you're going to see the window pop up, and you have a lot of different options which templates. Some of them install templates which you can use immediately on your computer, or you can also go to Office Online, and some of the agendas or budgets templates you're going to see which you can use also right away without creating anything from scratch. So it's a lot of different templates you can choose from. You can select a lot of different templates, and then you can just download them. You can download them, click in the lower right corner to your computer. Next button, the Office button, is Open button. Open button option, which shows you the existing files residing in the system, regardless of the version in which they were created. And that's, again, you can go and open any file from your system. So like any open, actually, button on applications. Next button, we're going to talk about Save As button. And Save As button option saves the document that you're working on is either a Microsoft Office file or file in the 97-2003 file format. Also, you can save it as a macro-enabled file or as a template file. You can also save your file as PDF file, or you can use all the other formats you can save them. Next interesting feature of Office button is Print. Hey Print option allows you to print files. Before printing, you can either set your printing options or send the file directly to the full printer. Additionally, you can preview the file. Prepare button will allow you, that option, provide you with sub-options to check if the file is ready to be shared. Before sharing the file, you can view and edit its properties. You can also restrict or grant permission to users by verifying their login credentials. You can add a signature and check if the document is compatible with the earlier versions of Microsoft Office. And in addition, you can also mark the file as final, so the readers have access only to the read-only version and nothing else. So you work with the earlier versions of Microsoft Office to create documents, spreadsheet presentation, but Microsoft Office 2007 has to be redesigned to streamline your work and maximize productivity. So let's talk about other options here, like send. For example, you can send your actually Excel spread workbook with internet fax or as email as an attachment, PDF attachment, or as XPS attachment. You can also publish your Excel workbook. If you click on publish, you can publish it as creating document workspace or in the document management server, and you can share the workbook to saving to document server. And of course, the plus button here is close. You can close your that particular file that you just opened. If you notice on the right side, you're going to see recent documents options, and here you're going to be saving all the documents that recently you opened, and you can save up to 50 documents which you already have been opened. An interesting feature on the right side, the small button, push pin. If you select the push pin, that document is going to stay there open as long as you want it to be. To exit this particular Excel application, just click on Exit Excel button and Excel will be closed. So, but the close button, don't confuse with the Exit Excel button. The close button closes only the file that are open. If the file hasn't been saved, the Microsoft Office application message box will appear, enable you to save your file with the latest change. So these are very important buttons you need to remember. Again, they all came from the Office button once I select upper left corner. So that's, for example, Outlook 2007, the new user interface displayed only when you open your message or the contact. So the options in Microsoft Office menu in Access, if any of you use Access 2007, are different from those of other applications. All right. So, for example, the Prepare and Send button option are replaced by the Manage and Email options. The Manage option enables you to perform routine maintenance to back up important databases regularly and set basic properties of the database. The Email option opens the Microsoft Office Outlook interface with options to mail the database. So Office button, again, is a very, very important tool. Look at upper left corner. And with that button, you can be able to open and work with all these features that I just talked to you about. Now, below the Office button, of course, one of the biggest part of any applications in Microsoft Office Suite is we call it Ribbon. The ribbon is a panel on top of a portion of the interface that contains a selection of easy-to-browse commands that you may need to in order to work on the file. It has several tabs that are organized in the order in which they will be used during file creation. Each of these tabs is divided into logical groups containing features designed to perform specific tasks. And we're going to go over these features separately, and these are the tabs which I'm just demonstrating to you, which you can click on and change from one option to another. So the commands in different groups are divided into large and small buttons. While the large buttons determine features that are commonly used, the smaller buttons represent minor features that are designed to work together to achieve a common result. You can hide the ribbon by double-clicking on any active tab. Just like that, double-click and you minimize the ribbon. By double-clicking again, you will maximize the ribbon one more time. Every time I would move my mouse, you're going to see a large, we call it screen tip. For example, screen tip which says font color, you can change the text color. So a screen tip is a label that appears when the mouse pointer is placed over the tool. It contains a description of the task performed by the tool. It helps users identify the functionality or features and commands they're not familiar with. You can customize screen tip on the popular tab of the application option dialog box by selecting any of three available options. Show screen tip, don't show screen tip, or don't show screen tips at all. And all these options that I just mentioned, you'll be able to see if you're going to click on Office button and go to Excel options, where you're going to see all these different advances, which we'll come back a little bit later on the popular tools of your screen tips. And this is we just mentioned about screen tip styles. You have three different options. Now, benefits of the ribbon, of that big toolbar, we call it. So most of the commands and controls are accessible from the ribbon, rather than through memos and dialog boxes. It helps users to identify a desired function and perform both simple and advanced operations without having to navigate extensively. So it's a simpler feature to use. So a lot of different tabs located on your ribbon, and you can just click on them, and while clicking on different tabs, you're going to see different options on your ribbon. But let's come back first to the top of the ribbon. Is another small bar called Quick Access Toolbar. Quick Access Toolbar has three buttons there. So by default, it displays on top of the window above the ribbon. It provides easy access to core commands, like I mentioned, like save command, for example, undo command, and repeat command, or redo. You can also customize it to include other commands using the Customize tab. So if you would right-click on this Custom Quick Access Toolbar, you're going to see one of the options says Customize Quick Access Toolbar. And if you select that options, it will allow you to add the buttons to the Quick Access Toolbar by selecting on the left side. If you see popular commands on the left side, you eliminate all the box of those buttons usage. If you click on the drop down, you can see one of the options says all commands, and with all commands you have a lot of buttons to choose from, and you can add them to your Quick Access Toolbar by double clicking, for example, on the left side. You will add to your Quick Access Toolbar. So the commands on the Quick Access Toolbar are available no matter which primary key tab is displayed. It's always going to have it. So you can display any of the tabs on your ribbon, but Quick Access Toolbar will have all these buttons. And again, you can scroll down and you can add any buttons that you prefer to your Quick Access Toolbar. So for example, if you want a button which says close, you will double click add. It's a good button to add. And you can select any buttons of your choice. And once you select all the buttons of your choice, you just click OK, and you're going to see all the buttons going to be added on the Quick Access Toolbar. Now the Quick Access Toolbar, like I mentioned before, can be customized, but also when you can start adding all the buttons, you will cover the name of the top of your screen. So the good idea, if you right-click on the Quick Access Toolbar and you can see one of the choices says Show Quick Access Toolbar below the ribbon, if you select this option, you will appear below ribbon so you can add more buttons without disturbing and covering the name of the file. So it's a very popular tool, and that tool you can see in all applications across the platform of Office 2007. So remember, the top of your screen contains an Office button, ribbon, different tabs on the ribbon, and Quick Access Toolbar. Now on the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the bar which is called Status Bar, right below the sheet. And the Microsoft Office Status Bar located on the bottom and displays in well-organized manner a number of tasks relating to Open's file functionality. And if you want to replace any of these tasks, you can right-click on it. You have a lot of different options that you can uncheck or you can check it. So different applications, for example, choose different, of course, customization of your status bar. For example, Microsoft Word will display the page number of your documents, which I'm going to show you. If I go to Microsoft Word, if you right-click, you're going to show you all different options, like formatted page number, for example, of the documents. And also displays the track changes. It also shows you the languages and signatures and column or line numbers and so on. You can use Microsoft Office Status Bar to navigate to different view modes or to zoom through your documents. Now I'm going to go back to Excel, and in Excel, it provides access, for example, to your recorder. So if you could start recording your macros, the macro recording dialog box will open up. You can also use Microsoft Office Status Bar to navigate to different view modes or to zoom on the spreadsheet, which have all these options here. You can zoom slider and so on. So you have a lot of different options you can choose by right-clicking on your status bar across the platform on all your different applications. And on the right side of the status bar is located the zoomer, which is manual zoomer. So you can actually manually zoom your screen, increasing the size of your spreadsheet by just clicking on the plus a few times and then on the minus a few times. So you can increase or decrease the size of your screen by doing so, which is a very interesting option in 2007 Office, which you can utilize. So let's come back to the ribbon from the bottom of the screen. We're going to go on top of the screen. You're going to take a look at the few tabs. And the first tab is a Home tab. So Home tab is a default tab which displays the Microsoft Office interface every time you open the Microsoft Excel. Generally, the Home tab contains clipboard commands you can see on the left side on your screen. Also commands to format the font. We can see the middle section of the screen. Alignment, for example, and various other frequently used commands, like you can change the conditional formatting, formatting tables, cell styles, insert your different sheet rows, columns, and delete sheet columns and rows, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different tabs you can work with in your ribbon. So other tabs in Microsoft Office includes, apart from the Home tab, also you have the tabs which you like to complete certain tasks. For example, Page Layout tab in Excel contains commands that help you format the layout of the page by setting margins, orientations, and other layout-specific features. So it's a very interesting tab to work with, and allows you to play with your different, all your different features of Microsoft Excel. Now, what's very interesting also on the Insert tab, you have also the different features. You can insert, for example, pictures, you can insert clip art, you can insert table, you can insert shapes, smart, and all these other different objects, which you can see also in Microsoft Word. So if I take it to Microsoft Word, you'll be able on the Insert tab also insert the same options as pictures, clip art, shapes, smart art, and chart. So the minute you insert any kind of, anytime you insert any kind, to switch back to Excel of objects, you're going to see something else will come up in on your ribbon. So I'm going to go home, so I'm going to click on the Home tab, and I'm going to insert an object. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to select Insert, for example, a shape. So if I click on Insert Shape, you notice that the recently used shape will come up. And let's say I'm going to insert with using my screen tip rectangle shape. So if I click on rectangle shape, I'm going to be traveling the small cross, and I'm going to click and create rectangle shape. Once I create a rectangle shape, you will notice on top of your screen, your ribbon will have another button called Format, which is designed just for that particular shape. That particular button we call Contextual tab. So contextual tabs are tabs with specialized commands that are displayed when the object that operate on, such as table, picture, drawing in my case, is selected. These tabs are displayed in addition to existing command tabs. As these tabs are context-based, the scope of these commands and tools is restricted to only the objects they are specialized for. You can switch between the contextual tabs in the core tabs as and when needed. However, when you deselect the object, the contextual tab disappears. So if I deselect the object, you will notice that contextual tab disappears and it's gone. Now, if I would delete that particular object, which is my shape, and I just delete that, I can also go back and insert, for example, a smart art. And if I click on the smart art graphics, it's visually communicate the information. I'm going to scroll slowly, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on Insert Smart Art. And when I insert Smart Art, and the most useful is hierarchy, which is, we'll see organization chart, and I just click OK on it, you will notice that another graphic will appear. But this time, two contextual tabs will appear, Design and Format. So it depends on the object you insert, you have different kind of, your contextual tabs will appear. So different types. So there are different types of contextual tabs, like you already see Design, you see Format, contextual tab. You can also have Layout contextual tab when I will add, for example, a chart. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to delete this particular Smart Art graphics, and I'm going to try to insert the chart. So in the same Insert button, I'm going to insert the chart, and I'm going to insert the column chart with 3D clustered column. When I create Insert Chart, you will notice immediately that now Design, Format button appear, but also Layout. So every time you insert different object, you have different type of contextual tabs when insert. So Format tab. So I'm going to uncheck that, and you notice your buttons will disappear. I'm going to do undo. I'm going to come back to my Smart Art graphics, and I'm going to go to Format tab. And Format tab appears when you insert or select pictures, shapes, charts, Smart Art graphics, and clip art. The commands on this particular tab can be used to format the object selected. You can change the object style, modify its color, or change its position. For example, if I want to change the shape color, I'm going to go to Shape Fill and choose any color. While I'm moving my mouse, you're going to see the live preview of the shape that I'm choosing. So if I choose certain shape, for example, the shape I'm going to choose green shape, light green, you notice the background will appear accordingly. So formatting allows you to change, for example, the background of the color shape. You have other options like shape styles, the text outline, and text effects. Design tab will allow you, and it appears only when you insert or select tables, charts, and smart art graphics, not when you select any objects and not pictures. The commands on this tab can be used to make design changes such as style in which the object is presented. So if I change the smart art styles, I will click on drop down and select the style. By seeing again live preview, I change the style of my graphic. In PowerPoint, for example, they have another contextual tab named the Option Contextual tab. It displays when you insert a media clip or movie. So there's a very optional and interesting features that you can guys observe when you insert any shape. By clicking outside, you'll notice your contextual tab disappear. I'm going to come back to the chart, and if I delete my actual smart art graphic, I'm going to insert the chart with 3D column effect, which is a blank chart. I don't have any information, but I wanted to see another button called Layout. And Layout button will allow you, it appears, and allow you only when you command, then you use to change the layout of existing chart or table merging. It only exists when you insert chart or table by merging, splitting, inserting rows, addition, change layout charts. So if I would insert the regular chart and I'm going to get rid of this chart, I'm going to delete it, and I have data on my cell, and if I decided to insert the chart, I'm going to just insert the chart by using certain numbers. And I'm going to add some data. So if I would just type the word, for example, few departments like human resources, and let's say IT department, and that's going to be, let's say, on the month of July. And I'm going to do also the month of August. And I'm going to insert a few numbers, 2-digit numbers, for you just guys to see how actually chart works. Now I would like to insert the chart. I would select the data, go to Insert button, and select Column Chart, the one I like before, 3D clustered. You notice the chart will appear, but again, now it appears with the data inside of it, and you can see your legend, and you can see, of course, your on the bottom, you're going to see different categories. And again, you notice on top of your screen, you're going to see the button Layout, but now everything is highlighted, and you can change. For example, if you go to Layout, you can add, just an example, you can add the title of your chart, above your chart, send overlay title, and so on. So if you select above the chart, the title will appear. So again, now we have 3 different contextual tabs that apply only to that particular chart. By clicking outside, you're going back to normal ribbon without these contextual tabs. So it's an interesting tool to work with, and again, it works throughout all applications, Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. I wanted to mention also, if you look at the tab, Home tab on your ribbon, in lower right corner of some of the section, you're going to see a small button, and that button will call it dialog box launchers. This small downward pointing arrow function located on the bottom right corner of certain commands, not all commands, but for example on the home commands you have all these buttons. They help launch the relevant dialog box with advanced setting options, and thereby they're reducing the time users spending locating required set commands. So if you click, for example, on the font launcher, you're going to see the dialog box format cells which you can work with all different features in the same window. So you can just work with the same window. And this is actually a very nice option that you can work with. For example, you can change the numbers, you can change the currency, you can go to alignment, font, border, so everything under the same window, which is a very wonderful dialog box. So Ribbon is a big part of Office 2007, has all different tabs that you can work with, and the same ribbon exists throughout all the applications with, of course, different commands. I'm going to return back to the Office button on top left corner of your screen, and I'm going to take you to Excel Options. In Excel Options, you have a lot of different commands to work with. Each of the application has the option. Excel Options has, of course, options for Excel. If I will take you to the Microsoft Word document, and you can go to Office button, it's going to be all Word options with popular buttons, which you can see in the Word, and same thing in the PowerPoint. If I take you to the PowerPoint, you're going to click on the Office button, you're going to see PowerPoint options, which are very, very similar options, but they have, of course, different commands. So please remember, I'm going to take you back to Excel. If you click on that Excel Options, the very top button is going to say Popular. It enables you to customize the most commonly used options. Enables you to choose display type for screen tips, like I mentioned before. Also specify the username in details. And all across the platform, you're going to see the same different options. Under proofing, for example, under proofing, you can see options like autocorrect options. So proofing enables you to customize various options to set the autocorrect and formatting settings. It enables you to specify how textual context should be corrected and formatted. It also allows you to choose the settings to ignore certain words or spelling errors in certain files. Save button enables you to customize the saving options. You can choose the frequency with which you want Microsoft Office to save or back up your files, and specify location format in which they will be saved. It also provides you the option to choose location in which server drafts will be saved. And again, if I'll switch to another application, under the Office button, if you go to Word options, you're going to see same commands, Popular and Proofing and Save. So all these commands you're going to be seeing on all these applications. I'm going to go back to Excel, most frequently used application. Now on the Advanced option, if again I'm going to go back to Excel option, Advanced options enables you to specify options for editing, formatting, display, printing, saving, and accessing options for files. And they all differ between Word and Excel and PowerPoint. But they're all across, say, advanced features, which you can just check the boxes and you see all different features will be selected. It's all defaults. Once you create and click on the boxes, every time you would open Excel, for example, these defaults will apply to that application. Customize button, actually the button which you saw when you want to customize Quick Access Toolbar. So the only toolbar you can customize, so it enables you to customize that, like I mentioned before, Quick Access Toolbar allows you to choose the commands you want to include in the Quick Access Toolbar. It also provides you the option of placing the toolbar below the ribbon, which I mentioned before. You can access the same box instead of going to Office button in Excel options. You can access by right-clicking, like I mentioned before. Under the Office button and Excel option, you have also other options here, like add-ins. And again, all the applications share the same add-ins, the same features. And add-ins will enable you to view and manage all different add-ins. For example, in Excel, you can use a Lookup Wizard add-in or Solver add-in. You can also look at the financial symbol if you want to download it to Excel spreadsheet. And you can use it add-in as the hidden rows and columns and so on. So it's all these different features you're going to see in different applications. So if you go to Microsoft Word and you're going to go to Office button and Word options, you're going to see add-ins commands a little bit different than Excel. You're going to see add-in like telephone number, for example, as a smart tag, or the time, which you didn't see in Excel. Also you have a date, smart tag, and so on. So it's different add-ins for different applications. Now, applications also have the button called Trust Center, and that actually button enables you to protect your files and secure your computer. It allows you to set the security measures needed to secure files. And you can also click on the button Trust Center Settings, and you'll be able to enable or disable macros. So you receive file from untrustful source, you can of course disable macros without notifications. So that's if you select that, it's going to be always default every time you open Microsoft Word document, PowerPoint presentation, or Excel workbook. All these commands are coming from the same actually option, Office button, Options, and then you can have on the left side all different tabs that you can select to choose any of these commands. So there are other tabs here, of course, like Resources, for example, which allows you to find online resources, maintain health reliability of your Microsoft Office programs. So we're going to go ahead now and go back to our Excel application. We're going to delete the chart, and we're going to start to work with some of the data to show you some interesting features. So if you noticed in the beginning of our presentation, I mentioned our agenda. And our agenda, we covered exploring user interface. We talked about Office button and the ribbon. We talked about how to customize Quick Access Toolbar. We talked about contextual tabs and galleries, live preview. Now we're going to talk about other interesting features in Excel, Word, PowerPoint, or Office 2007. Like we're going to talk about Media Toolbar. We're going to talk more about live preview, themes, and compatibility checker. So I'm going to take you back to Excel. And once you're in Excel, you can see I have a data already downloaded in my Excel workbook. And first thing what you want to see is if you select any data, for example, I'm going to select my client data and I'm going to select my table. And what's interesting is if I decided to change and add the table instead of just regular text, what I can do is I can very simple go to my Home tab, select my Format as Table button, and I can choose the table of my choice. And you notice if I select any table style, you will highlight already my table. If I click OK, the color will appear. You will notice the ribbon can have another button, Design, will appear on top of your screen. Here you're going to see the live preview. So if I move my mouse on different table styles, you're going to see a live preview of that table. And that's what we talked about before, so you can actually look at that table and live preview of the table. And then you can specify particular whatever table styles you would like to have. And if I click on the lower right corner of the table styles, I'm going to see more formats I can choose from. And every time I move my mouse, you're going to see a gallery of different live previews of these particular options, which is very, very interesting. Now, you can also see if you look on a click outside and select, just click anywhere within the table, click in table. Now, the button Design will be standing on, but once you click outside table, Design will disappear, that contextual tab, and you're going to see just regular buttons on the top of your screen. But if I select these numbers, the data, and you look at the status bar, you're going to see that average of these numbers, for example, $2,372.66. It'll tell you the count, how many cells are there, and the sum of all these numbers. So we talked about that status bar, which is called Quota Calculate. Now, if I decided to make changes, for example, to my data, I will select the data, I will select the name of the clients, and if you right-click on it, you will notice immediately the small mini toolbar will pop up. And that mini toolbar will appear, it's a floating toolbar, and it appears beside selected text, consists of commonly used font and paragraph tools, such as font, list size, color and bullets. Also a format painter, bold, italics, and text alignments. Have a lot of different options. You can use one or more of these available commands without having to move to the main toolbar, which is ribbon. So mini toolbar disappears when you move your mouse away from it. So you click outside in Excel and the mini toolbar will disappear. If I'm Microsoft Word and you will type data, and I will type the word hello, for example, and I will highlight the word hello, the mini toolbar will appear by itself without actually right-clicking. But if you right-click, it will also appear like in Microsoft Excel. And here I can make changes, and here I can make changes to my text. For example, if I want to change the text to different color, I can choose different color, like blue, for example. I can also increase the size of my text and make it bold. I can also change the font if I would like to any font that I like. So it's a nice small feature, but it comes across all the application and it's very useful. So I'm going to take you back to Excel, and remember, when that table is selected, as long as you already created a table, you click inside, again you're going to see live preview now, the table changes, which I mentioned before. So that feature, again, you can see across all the applications, so you can view the results of applying design and formatting changes made to the element without actually applying them. So it's a very nice feature. Also very nice feature, if you decided now to highlight a small table on the bottom right here, you can just highlight it, and you can also insert table. But going to insert tables is another option which you can create, and you also will insert the color table and so on, same exactly way. So you can have many tables on your screen, as many as you like. So it's a nice feature to work with also. Now you can also go to your insert button again, and you can insert other features for different options like clip art and pictures. You can insert pivot tables if you guys work with pivot tables, and so on and so forth. So it's a nice actually feature to work with. On the page layout, you can also change the themes of your table. So if you move your mouse, you're going to see the themes are changing. And the theme changing on all the tables which are located on your screen. So it's a nice actually feature, and again the same feature applies to Microsoft Word also. So a theme refers to a set of design and formatting choices applied to ensure consistency throughout the file. A theme specifies the fonts and colors to be used for the text and the effects to be used for the shapes, charts, diagrams, tables, whatever you insert in the file. So Microsoft Office 2007 provides several predefined themes, which you guys can see now while I'm moving my mouse. You can either pick an existing theme for your file or create your own theme by customizing one, and you can browse for themes, or you can choose more themes online. So the newly created themes can also apply to other files. So these are nice features that you can use in all the applications, which is Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And I'm using them in Excel exactly the same way you can use another application, which is a very nice feature. You can also click outside of all your tables, and you notice your bar will come back to normal view without any contextual extra edit into your file. I'm going to take you back to one of the most important parts of Excel, which is save command, saving files. To save the file in different format, I want to take you to Office button, upper left corner, and go to the button which says Save As. So you have enhanced your files using the various tools provided in Microsoft Office 2007. Apart from knowing how to work on the interface and format files, it's so essential to be able to retrieve and share the information. So I wanted to show you which format you can save your files and can work with them and use it for different uses. Sharing information with your colleagues, senior officials, and clients is an integral part of working in the corporate world. So when dealing with different clients, it becomes essential that your documents suit the applications. However, to create different documents that are compatible with different applications sometimes can be a difficult tool to work with. So Office 2007 helps you to save a file in different formats, enable easy integration of Office 2007 files into other applications and platforms. Office 2007 uses XML as a default file format. So if you would save your regular file, just click on Save As, this Excel workbook is going to be saved as XML format. It's a compact and robust format that enables you easy integrate within Office 2007 files without application and platforms. But there are other formats which are available everywhere, so you should be able to save it in a different format, like 97-2003 if the users don't have Office 2007. So I'm going to repeat one more time. The default of Excel 2007, Word 2007, or PowerPoint 2007 is the XLSX format, which is regular format. So if I click on the button Save As, you will notice that it will save it. You can save it as XLX format, which is the top of your screen, Excel Workbook. But you can also save it as Excel format, which is the previous version, by selecting the drop-down from Save As Type and select 97-2003 Workbook format, which allows all the users to see in the previous version of your file. In Word, I'm going to cancel from this window, I'm going to take it to Microsoft Word, and if you're going to go to Office button in Microsoft Word, you're going to see the default, again, is going to be XLSX, which is X going to be at the end of the file. But if you click again on Save As, you can save Microsoft Word a copy, which is fully compatible with Word 97-2003 format, which is format you'll be able to use and by other users. In PowerPoint, if you go to Save As, you're going to see the same options, but you can also save it as a PowerPoint show, which is again going to be saved 2007 format. But if you click on the Save As and you click on the drop-down, you can save it as 97-2003 show. So it doesn't have to be 2007 format, so other users will be able actually to work with it. So these are new file formats which introduced in Office Act 2007. And advantage of these new files because they provide several benefits for end users. For example, they have a small file size. The new format uses zip compression to reduce the size by as much as 75%. These new file formats reduces the disk space required to store files and to share files across the network, so much easier file to work with. But here's the problem. If you're going to save any file, I'm going to take you back to Excel, and I'm going to try to save that file. If you notice that file on top of the screen says compatibility mode. If you see that mode, it means that file saved is 97-2003 format. But if I try to go ahead and save the same file, and I'm going to save this file as 2007 format, and I'm going to save the file and click on the button Save, you'll notice the top of your screen, the compatibility mode is not going to go away. But once I close that file, and I'm going to go ahead back to the Office button and open that file one more time, you will notice it will appear without compatibility checker. So that file now in 97-2003 format. I'm going to make a few changes to this file. I'm going to click inside the table, go back to my ribbon, go back to Design Tool, and change that color, for example, of my table by looking at preview to a little bit darker color, something like that, which is going to select color. And I'm going to try to save this file as 97-2003 format. And by doing that, if I go to Office button and I select Save As, and I'm going to try to save it in previous version, you notice, and if I try to save it, I'm going to save it as previous version 97, and I'm going to name it 2003 format. And just go ahead and Save button. You notice the window pop up would before actually saving it, and the window will pop up called Compatibility Checker. So Compatibility Checker is a feature that enables you to identify the compatibility of objects used in Office 2007 document when it is saved in the earlier version. When you save an Office 2007 document, either it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or Access in any earlier version, some of the content such as new text and shape effects and smart art graphics are converted to pictures to ensure that it's presented consistently. These converted objects cannot be modified in earlier versions of the application. I repeat one more time. These objects cannot be modified in the previous version application because the previous application didn't have these kind of colors or these kind of features. So please remember that. So but Excel, for example, over PowerPoint will always give you a warning, and in this particular case it will tell you the table styles applied in this workbook is not be displayed in earlier version of Excel. So but if you agree with it, you just continue and that file is going to be saved. So if I click on continue sheet, you know this file is going to be saved in 2003 format. And once again I close it and I'm going to go back to Office button and I'm going to open that file. You'll notice on top of your screen is going to say compatibility mode. So now that file is saved in 97-2003 format. So it's a very important actually feature, and it's very important to know that once you save any object in previous version, it cannot be edited or modified. If you do need to send that particular file to any of your colleagues or different companies and they don't have Office 2007, but you do need them to send them and they should be able to modify it, they can also use the converter. The converter option in Office they can download from Microsoft Office, and it's free, and they'll be able to use to transfer 2007 file into 2003 without any problems. You can also save your files. Besides in previous version, you can save your file as PDF or XPS file, which is Microsoft Office supports exporting or saving of any Microsoft Office system programs, files attached to any document from either in the portable document format, that's what PDF stands for, or in XML, which is paper specification file format. This option of creating the file in PDF or XPS file format is available only if you open any Office items. The PDF or the XPS file format is a fixed layout electronic format that preserves the exactly file formatting as intended both in the print and online views. It also ensures that the file cannot be edited easily, so you cannot edit as simple as we really sometimes can do with regular applications, with XLS file or Word file. So in order to use, please remember PDF or XPS feature, in order to use the PDF or XPS feature available with Microsoft Office 2007, you will have to download and install the Microsoft Save As PDF or XPS add-in. This add-in is available again on the Microsoft website. So these are the most important features that I try to show you and share with you. I'll share with you this particular session. So please remember, Office 2007 is a wonderful office to work with. We covered all the agenda that I wanted to cover. I'm just going to go over my presentation to show you what I just covered, kind of review of everything that I just covered before we depart. So we talked about the agenda of file. We went and we talked about Microsoft Office button. We discussed that. We talked about the ribbon. We covered all interesting ribbon, and we talked about different options on the ribbon. We talked about quick access toolbar that you can customize, add buttons, and move it on below the ribbon. We talked about a home tab with all the different features and the groups that are available on the home tab. We also talked about different contextual tabs when you create any object. In this case, it's Smart Art Graphics. They only appear if you add any kind of object like pictures, clip art, charts, or Smart Art Graphics. We also talked about paragraph dialog box launcher, lower right corner location, small arrow facing to the right. We talked about mini toolbar. Once you select any portion, one Word document or just one sentence, the mini toolbar will come up. You'll be able to make changes regarding formatting. We also talked about different live preview and changing styles or changing different galleries or preview or themes on your document. And we also talked about different fonts which are located right on your ribbon of the Home tab with live preview. So once you move your mouse, you're going to see live preview of all your data. And we also mentioned themes and themes colors and fonts and effects we can change again by just moving your mouse up and down, left and right, and make all the changes to your theme of your document. We also just mentioned compatibility checker, which allows you to save your document in the previous versions, and you can run compatibility checker, and that will allow you to see which actually features in 2007 cannot be edited or modified in Office 2003. And the last file, actually, I want to thank you for participating in that small session, and I wish you good luck using Office 2007, which is one of the best offices to use and most powerful one. Thank you.